P90 is a submachine gun, but not as we know it.
It is the weapon for the 21st century.
Part of that close quarters battle need is to have something that's comfortable to use.
It fires a 5.7 round and it's very effective.
It has to be surgical and fast.
It's not using 50, 60-year-old technology. This is the next generation. It goes where you point it.
The P90 was created directly in response to a request for a new type of weapon.
Back in the early 1990s, NATO decided that they needed some type of different PDW, personal defense weapon, for NATO militaries.
They wanted something that provided more protection for vehicle crewmen such as tanks, helicopters.
Tanker crews, their transport crews, those type of personnel.
Something that provided them more lethality and protection.
The developers came up with an ergonomic and compact bullpup design.
A bullpup configuration, it's a very different configuration from conventional, where you're bringing the feeding mechanism behind the strong hand and the trigger.
You get to reduce the overall length of the whole firearm, but not reduce your barrel. You still have a 10-inch barrel in a 19-inch overall submachine gun.
This slick appearance has made the P90 a star of TV and movies. But it wasn't designed just to look good.
It has rounded corners, no rough edges on it.
That way, when the officers are in their SWAT gear or protection detail, it doesn't hang up on their gear or their suits, depending on what they're wearing.
It's very sleek, it's very compact. There's nothing jutting out, such as magazines or pistol grips, that will snag on a soldier's gear.
They can move it very easily. If you have to cover a door or move from one door to another, it's not jamming on the door jamb with things hanging off the side of it.
Again, the designers created a brand new round to accompany their weapon.
The 5.7 cartridge was designed at a NATO request. They wanted something to bridge the gap between handgun ammunition and rifle ammunition. It's not going to over-penetrate and hit somebody behind them, or if, heaven forbid, you miss your intended target and it starts going down range, as soon as it hits something of mass, it dumps all of its energy right there and it falls to the ground.
Even the magazine was completely redesigned from scratch.
We like the magazine. The magazine is high capacity with 50 rounds in it. It gives you a considerable amount of rounds to carry into a situation.
If you notice, she's laying on top of the firearm instead of being underneath, sticking out, getting in the way.
That makes the total firearm more sleek.
And this is one weapon that doesn't care if you're left or right-handed.
It's ambidextrous, totally ambidextrous.
Since it loads from the top, you can load it with either hand. You can operate the controls with either hand, from either side, lefties, righties, doesn't matter.
And that's critical in a tactical entry situation. You must be able to shoot left-handed and right-handed, because as you do entries into a building, corners are left-handed and right-handed corners. Having an ambidextrous weapon like that is very, very advantageous to the tactical officer.
A special ejection system even keeps the spent rounds from getting in the way.
We like the fact that the brass drops out of the bottom, that you're not putting hot brass on the man next to you in the stack.
So if you shoot this system left-handed, the rounds aren't hitting you in the face as a left-hand shooter.
The rate of fire, design, and performance of the P90 have made it the weapon of choice for special ops units in over 20 countries around the world.